Oh shit, I fucked that up. Look, I just woke up, so I'm not even fully here. I'm just like, so yeah. Uh Damn, I fucked that up, man. Oh well, it's good. I totally forgot to ask while we were in the back. Do you prefer to go by your real name? I don't know what your real name is, you got your YouTube channel
Dark
name.
Fox.
Dark, you rather be
Yeah.
just called Dark Fox?
Yeah.
Not Gray Fox, you don't want to be like Frankie Edgar from Metal Gear. That's one I would
See,
have
and
went
that's the
with.
thing. See, and that's the thing. That's where I got it from. Huge fan of the Metal Gear series, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so I didn't want to use Fox Dog, so it's like I'm dark, and I like the name, so Dark Fox.
Yeah. It's not bad. It's not bad. I have a friend. He goes by Gray Fox. So it's just like,
oh shoot, man.
Yeah, I remember. I live in Orlando now, but I used to live over by Legoland, and it's like about 2 hours away from where I'm at now. And
Yeah.
I lived in an apartment, but there was a road called Gray Fox Drive, and I kept saying like, I'm gonna buy me a damn house on that fucking road, man. Like I want that road. But yeah, I'm a massive Metal Gear fan too, like massive.
Yeah.
But I don't like Metal Gear Solid 5. I that game can burn in hell. That game can burn in hell.
What about Revengeance?
I love Revengeance. I'm still upset that we still didn't get a second one yet.
Yeah, man. It was so over the top, bro, but in like the best way.
Yeah. It was well, it's platinum game, but it continued the story from after Metal Gear Solid 4, so I like that. Metal Gear Solid 5 just it dropped the ball. Like Hideo Kojima lost his damn mind with that game. Right. It wasn't a Metal Gear game. You go on these little missions, they play crap. Like I got like his damn name was everywhere. Every time you go to do a mission, it's like Hideo Kojima. Like I know who made the damn game. And then like the story was like it was stupid. Like there's two big bosses, and it's just a lot of it just didn't make any sense. Which sucks because Metal Gear was always my favorite game. Like love that game. Metal Gear Solid 1 is still my favorite game of all time. So yeah,
man,
but hopefully
is top of my list too.
Yeah, I'm hoping Konami does something with the franchise. I don't think Hideo Kojima needs to be there in order to make a game.
So they came out with the continuance of Metal Gear. I can't remember what the name of it was, but it was it was silly, bro. It's
Survivor?
So hard. I got a few. Yes, that one was horrible.
Yeah.
I hated that game.
I never bought it. That
was that's Kojima out of Konami making a Metal Gear game. It was horrible. It was so bad. Dude.
Yeah. Well, I think what happened with that one was that they had that Fox engine or whatever, and they're like, hey, because at that time survival games were really popular. So like, we're just gonna do this like out of pocket. It's not really connected to nothing, But like remakes and remasters are really popular right now. I want them to go back and remake the original Nintendo Metal Gear. Like Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, the ones before Metal Gear Solid. Those games are fantastic. And the story are so simple. Like I think that would be great for a remake. Oh, we got our first super chat.
They've been talking about.
Oh, no, go ahead. I gotta fix this because this thing is huge.
Oh. So they've been talking about doing a remaster of Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater.
Yeah,
they've been talking about that for a while. Yeah. But
3 is fantastic.
I'd like to see them do the entire gamut.
Yeah. 3 is fantastic. To me, it's just weird to start with 3. It's just like we're gonna start right in the middle.
Well,
it's just weird.
Based in I want to say the Cold War back in the 60s. I want to say. So
it was the 60s.
But
well, to be fair,
I
it's
get why they start there, but
it's the first game in the timeline technically. So, but it's just so weird to do that one because Metal Gear, I mean, that game still holds up, right? I have the remastered copy on the 360, so you can put it in the Xbox Series X and play it, and it still plays like a great game. So it's just weird that they would remaster that when something like Metal Gear Solid 1 is stuck on the PlayStation 1. Like it's not on any other console but the PlayStation 1 unless you play Twin Snakes on GameCube. Where Metal Gear Solid 3 is on PS2, PS3, Xbox 360, like it's everywhere. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah. And Metal Gear Solid 4, that thing is just stuck on the PlayStation 3. Like they haven't even done nothing with that. And that was a fantastic game. Let me get to the super chat.
It was, yeah.
Yeah,
right
it was great. Just some geek guy threw in a $10 super chat. I guess we're just gonna get into the Shazam topic. David F. Sandberg is trying to blame the Snyder fan base for Shazam 2's failure, which is stupid because I thought we were just a minority, yet somehow big enough to save Shazam 2 from flopping. I don't know where you're getting that information from. I haven't heard anything about David F. Sandberg blaming the Snyder cult. I haven't heard anything about David F. Sandberg saying that. I've heard both David F. Sandberg and Zachary Levi come out and blame The Rock for meddling with their plans, which I knew about that years ago, like 2 years ago. The Rock come out and said, yeah, I refuse to be attached to the Shazam franchise, which is, you're a Shazam fucking character, bro. What the fuck you mean? Yep. You know, that's like you're doing a Batman movie and whoever you cast to play the Joker is like, yeah, I'm too good for this movie. I'm going to have my own movie. It's like, what? That doesn't make any damn sense. You know, I'm really pissed off at The Rock with this. And I don't know if you saw Shazam, but I didn't. And the reason why I didn't was because I wanted the sequel should have been Black Adam versus Shazam. That should have been the sequel. Bigger and better. I don't want to see Shazam go against like senior citizen female ladies. I don't. Right? Like I don't. That's you want to see the villains get bigger and bigger in each movie. You don't want to see him go down and down. Can you imagine if like the first Superman movie, he's fighting that stupid like leprechaun guy, Mr. Nipplepix or whatever the fuck his name is? Like, who wants to see that? You know? It's because Lex Luthor refused to be in the movie. It's just like, it doesn't make any sense, man. How do you feel about this? Have you heard anything about the Snyder thing?
No, I haven't. But I mean, so I've seen the first one. I didn't see the second one, right? And my problem with the first one, it was just fine. It was a fine movie. It didn't do anything spectacular. Yeah. I thought the who he had him fighting, it wasn't a good enough villain. You know what I mean? It wasn't a menacing villain, nothing to leave a mark or anything like that, right?
Yeah.
And so to hit that threshold of it's just a moderately well done movie to get a sequel out of that, I was like, why? You know?
Yeah.
And then on top of, you know, when James Gunn announcing that we're shaking everything up, it essentially had to prove itself to to earn a spot in James Gunn's DCU with the second movie. And it definitely didn't do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I feel the same way you do about the first one. You know, it was like, you know, he fought a mediocre villain. Like, I love the actor, but he fought a very mediocre villain, and it was meh. Like, I didn't hate the first one. I was just left there. I was like, yeah. It's just like, I don't know if you know much about the Shazam character, but he's supposed to have like the power of Zeus and the wisdom of Solomon, and like he's dumb as a motherfucker. Like, he's just stupid. Like, the kid is more mature as the kid form than he is when he's a superhero form, and I felt like they blew their load by having all the other kids become superheroes at the end of the movie. They should have saved that for the second film. Like, he should have been fighting Black Adam. He was getting his ass kicked, and then his family comes in as superheroes, and Shazam family defeat Black Adam, and then you do a Black Adam movie as a spinoff, right? But The Rock came in, like, look, that's not what I'm cooking, you know? I'm going to lay the smack down. This is what's going to happen. You know your role, jabroni. I'm The Rock. And look what happened. The movie Black Adam flopped. Shazam flopped. It was just a mess. And like you said, the first movie villain was mediocre, and then you're gonna have another mediocre villain for the second movie. Villains sell the movie. Killmonger sells the movie. Thanos sells the movie. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous.
Thanos was the biggest draw. That's when they hit peak entertainment, bro. Is when Thanos was brought into it, dude. Because he was the perfect villain. He was he didn't care. He'd take anyone out. When he killed his daughter, you know what I mean? It was like
Yeah.
that's how you know this is the guy. He's the guy.
There's two villains
So,
that's gonna draw, Thanos and Darkseid,
Mhm.
That's the problem. DC just got to get it right so they can do Darkseid right. You know, they were like fumbling all over the place.
Yes, dude. It's like they had the potential to make the DCEU what Marvel is. They had the chance, but the way they did Darkseid was he got slashed with an axe and he was out of commission. It was like, bro, that's not Darkseid. That's not who Darkseid is. You know it. And I saw the the design of him. I didn't like it either.
DC had a chance.
I wish he would have been stockier.
Yeah, DC had a chance to be good. It was more, and I said this from the beginning, it wasn't Zack Snyder's fault why DC failed. It was the studio heads. There was no leadership over there. They had Kevin Feige at Marvel. DC didn't have anybody. It was just like whoever wanted to come in and do their movie, okay, you can do your movie. There's no reason why we had a Suicide Squad back then, right? Like Suicide Squad after BVS, that doesn't make any sense. Yes. Just the way they went about it was like they were like paint by numbers trying to do anything. Geeky Guy said, agreed, Rob. The Rock is out of his damn mind. I've been saying that forever. WB should have casted Dominic Purcell and Gerard Butler as Black Adam instead of The Rock. I don't know who the first guy is. I'll look him up. I probably do know who he is. But Gerard Butler, yeah, he's pretty good.
He's definitely good. I mean, but The Rock has the comic book structure. He's big and muscular like that, and he kind of looks like Black Adam, dude. Just bald.
Yeah, especially when he had hair. But I feel like
a perfect Black Adam.
What's that?
Oh, go for it.
Oh no, go ahead. I wasn't gonna say nothing important.
Oh, but I think he would have been a really good Black Adam if they would have done his character justice. Take The Rock out of it and just get some good writers and get a good director and tell Rock to sit down and just do what we tell you to do.
That's the problem. That's the problem. He went in there and did his own thing. He didn't even have the pointy ears that Black Adam had. It's just like he wanted. I feel like he wanted to be Superman, but Superman was already taken. That's what I feel like. It's like okay, I guess I'll take Black Adam. The hierarchy of power is gonna change forever. No, it's not. I remember about 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, I was sitting in there and doing my Storms Live. And I had my friends. I had this one guy named Sharif on there. Sharif and Danny, they always kept telling me like, wait till Black Adam's gonna come out. Like The Rock's gonna have so much pull. And I'm like, where are you guys getting this from? Because if you look at any of the Rock movies that isn't Fast and the Furious or Jumanji, when those are ensemble movies, every one of his movies do mediocre at the box office. Why do you guys think Black Adam is going to make $1 billion? Like that makes no sense. And then they got so scared they had to start putting Superman in the teaser trailers. I'm like, what? Yeah, it's crazy.
That's how they did Wonder Woman with Shazam the second time around.
Yeah,
like, dude, I don't get that. Yeah.
Which sang harder, Titanic or Shazam 2? Neither one. What sinks harder was my sister when she goes in the swimming pool. Sinks right to the bottom, bro. Sinks right to the bottom. Sinks right to. So, let's talk about this Ronin game coming out. I seen him announce it, and I'm like, okay, I'm down for this because we haven't had a good big budget Ninja Turtle game in a long time. Like Shredder's Revenge was awesome, but it's not a big budget. It's very retro style. I loved it, played the hell out of it.
Right.
But the last one we had, I believe, was from Platinum Games. It was like TMNT Mutant something. I don't know. I got it back there, but it's okay. But it was like not that great. And the fact that they said this is gonna be like a God of War style, Last Ronin TMNT game, like I'm hyped for it, man. What about you? Oh, I think we lost him,
with
guys.
the way he described it is like you said, the God of War. What I want it more like Ghost of Tsushima. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Oh, can you see me now?
Yeah, yeah. Your camera is like stalling a little bit and the mic's going in and out, but it comes back.
Gotcha. Okay. Right on. But can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. But when he's describing it as a a God of War game, AAA, big budget, I love the big budget AAA, love that. But what I want is the Ghost of Tsushima feel and not the God of War feel. Because
Yeah.
you take Ghost of Tsushima, he's a samurai ninja, slash ninja, and then with the 4 different weapons you use, you should be able to change, to stances and things like that. So I want it to look and feel more like Ghost of Tsushima. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you what, I like that idea a lot more than the
Mhm.
God of War idea, because I think the
Mhm.
new God of War games aren't all that great, to be honest with you. I get a lot of hell for that. But man, I'll tell you what, I got God of War 2014 God of War on the PlayStation 4. I bought this shit,
Yeah.
played it for about 8 hours, and then I just got bored with the game. Then
Right
when I got a PS5, they did an update patch. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try it again. Got about another 8-10 hours in it, stopped again. And I'm like, look, this game ain't for me. Like, everybody's nutting all over the fact, like, oh man, Ragnarok, oh my god, right? And I'm like, guys, all he does is walk and talk to his son the entire game. It's like 30 hours of, hey boy, come here, hey boy, come here. And then you do like a puzzle, then you fight a couple things, then you walk again. And I'm just like I miss the old school God of War games where Kratos was getting laid, he was killing things, like it was like balls to the wall action. And now it's just like a walking puzzle simulator with a little bit of fight scenes in it. I mean, that's just my take on it, though. But
Right
the
on.
Ghost of Tsushima seems like a much better idea.
Yeah. Right on. Well, I'm gonna be contrary to that. I absolutely loved the 2018 and Ragnarok, right? Loved them, but I also loved the ones back in the day. And even when they had the PSP out, I got Chains of Olympus, which was, dude, it was so good, right? But narratively, and I mean, even the gameplay was really dope when you actually did get gameplay,
Yeah, when you get gameplay.
But it was super immersive, bro. And then the graphics, dude, it's insane. It was insane. Like the
graphics and cutscenes look fantastic.
Yeah. It was good, man. And then like when I played it, I think my son was around 6, 7. So it really it dropped another layer down for me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I could get where he was coming from. I mean, I'm not that harsh on my boy, but I can get where he's coming from, wanting to teach him and nurture him, make sure that he can take care of himself. If he gets, taken out by a monster or something like that, I can understand that. But
and just for the record, it is not better than Elden Ring. And it's Elden Ring, not Elden Rings. Okay, this ain't Lord of the Rings. Okay, and Elden Ring is a much better game because Elden Ring goes back old school. Elden Ring is like, we pop you in the world, you figure this shit out. Like, it reminds me of like Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, where it's like, or any of the old school Zelda games. It's like, boom, here you go.
Yeah,
figure it out. Like games today. I gotta be honest with you. Like, I've been I've been playing more retro games lately rather than modern games. It's just because all modern games are like the same thing, man. It's like you got like a 30-40 minute tutorial in the beginning to show you what you got to do with the buttons. Then it's like an hour-long cutscene. Then you walk, and I'm just like, man, I just beat Metroid Prime, and I loved it. It's like, here you go, figure the shit out. I'm like, well, damn. And so I'm just like, and like some of the best rated games this year so far have been GameCube games that are remastered. Metroid Prime remastered, Resident Evil 4 remake. Those are GameCube exclusive games at one point, So
right on. Jeez.
Hear me out. This is a $5 super chat from Geek Guy. Hear me out. Wolfgang, I don't know who the fuck that is, as Superman and James Gunn's Superman Legacy film. Man, you got me looking up people. I don't even know who the hell these people are.
I'm gonna have to look them up too. That the first name sounds familiar though.
Yeah, the first name does. Wolfgang. All right. I don't know, man. It just looks like another normal white boy. And he's got a Superman suit on. Why does he have a Superman suit? Is that because people are already painting him as Superman? You know, look, I don't get into the whole fan casting. I hate fan casting. I just think fan casting is ridiculous. I mean, if they cast him, fine. That's great. I also think Austin Butler could be a good Superman too. It's just, yeah, to me, whoever they cast, just cast. You know, I don't really get into the whole fan casting. What about you?
For me, dude, I wish they would have just kept
Cavill.
Yeah, I wish they would have kept Henry on because the way James Gunn described it, he's saying that he wants a younger Superman, in his journalism days and whatnot. And they were just getting into that after the Man of Steel. At the end of Man of Steel, he was going right into that, Yeah. And Henry, I want to say he's in mid to late 30s. He could totally play that. So
yeah, he's about my age. I'm 39.
Felt the need to get rid of him.
Well, this is the way I explain it to people. You had to get rid of Henry Cavill. And this is why I say it. And not to say I don't love Henry Cavill, because I absolutely love Henry Cavill Superman. The problem is, you see where Shazam is going. All these DCEU films are just tanking, right? And if you keep Henry Cavill, even if you reboot it, we know they're rebooting it because we're on YouTube. We're talking about this stuff, right? But the average person on the street, they'll see Henry Cavill like on a poster and they'll think, oh, this is still attached to that. I don't like that last movie, so I'm not going to give this a shot. Even though it's a reboot, they see the person and they're like, oh, I seen the first one. I didn't like it. And then they just skip it. Where we're all like, oh, it's a reboot, The problem is, like I told Geeky Guy about a month ago or 2 months ago, was if Black Adam would have succeeded and made almost $1 billion, like $800 to $1 billion, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. But the fact that every DC movie since Aquaman has bombed, and each one is bombing worse and worse and worse, they had no choice to we have to reboot. And you can't make a new restaurant and use the same chefs as the restaurant that got bad reviews. You know what I mean? So if you have a restaurant that's getting bad reviews and you close that restaurant down and open up a new one and say grand opening, and people come in and go, it's the same chef, it's the same waiter, they're not going to stay. They're going to be like, oh, it's the same shitty ass restaurant just with a new name. So that's why they had to do it. I don't like it. I think Henry Cavill's perfect, but at the same time, business wise, it just doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Right on. No, I get you. It's the problem with the DCEU is they have no overarching narrative between all those movies. There's nothing to connect them together like Marvel did. You know what I mean? So it's just like them throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Yeah, that's what they were doing for the longest time.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and it didn't interest people, especially coming from Marvel and DC saying, oh, here's our extended universe. It's like, well, okay, these don't connect at all,
Yeah, and it doesn't help that their second movie in their franchise was Batman versus Superman, where the same year you had Captain America versus Iron Man, which was their third phase, which they've been around for years. Like, it wasn't their second movie; it was like their 15th movie. They built up to that stuff.
Right.
It just didn't make no sense. They rushed stuff out. Justice League was an absolute disaster of a film. Wonder Woman was good. Aquaman was okay. And since then, it's just been one bomb after another. Just one bomb after another.
Yeah. And even Marvel, they're experiencing their kind of descent right now, too. They're bombing all over the place. It's unfortunate to see them go in the direction that they're going, though. You know what I mean?
But they're bombing for different reasons, though. They're bombing because it's like a football team. I don't know if you watch sports, right? Basketball, football, doesn't matter, right? It's like you have Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and Dennis Rodman, right? And then after Endgame, you lose your star players. Now you got to hope that your backups can live up to that. Same thing with football. You went from Tom Brady to whoever they're gonna have fucking Baker Mayfield, right? People aren't gonna be drawn to that, and they haven't really built it up. Whereas, like, we have even seen Shang-Chi since the Shang-Chi movie like 3 years ago, right? Normally they do a really good job going, okay, you're gonna see this person in this movie, this person in this movie.
Right.
It's like, man, we haven't seen the Eternals, we haven't seen the Shang-Chi, so how can we be excited for what's next when you're not even promoting these guys?
Right.
And not to mention they have so many projects, like so many Disney Plus shows, so many movies. Thor Love and Thunder was awful. She-Hulk was awful. It's just like, it's just they're going into creative. They try to move away from the formula, and it didn't work. Their old formula was a phase of like 5 or 6 movies, an Avengers movie, then another phase of 4 or 5 movies, and then an Avengers movie, right? It was all build up. This is the longest we've ever been without an Avengers movie, and there was no build up. And then they want to put 2 Avengers movies coming out in the same year. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. Holy crap. I didn't know.
If they would have done like Shang-Chi, like right after Thor Love and Thunder did an Avengers movie and tied in like the rings and the Celestials and all that stuff into something, okay. Or like, why is Kang showing up in an Ant-Man movie? Why? Like, that makes no sense. This is a character that was like so small that he was the laughable joke in the franchise, and you got you got the Thanos of the next series in Kang showing up in an Ant-Man movie. It's just some of the decisions they're making over there just doesn't make any sense. They're making like DC decisions.
But I mean, who do they have left though?
As in like gone, stars. I mean,
well, like Mark Ruffalo might. He might.
Well, what they should have done. What they should have done right out the gate is like, okay, we don't have Tony, we don't have Cap no more. Okay, what do we do?
Right.
Sam Wilson's our next Cap. Captain America 4 should have been a movie in phase 4. It should have been the movie. War Machine should have been the new Iron Man to train Ironheart. But yet you have Ironheart show up in Black Panther 2 for some weird reason. We haven't really seen Don Cheadle anywhere. So if your backups are out, you get or your stars are out, you get your backups in. Like, they should have greenlight Sam and Bucky movie instead of doing this show. They should have done the War Machine Armored Wars movie in phase 4. All that, like, that's still coming out, but that should have been out before Shang-Chi and Eternals, and let's do a Black Widow movie when the character already died. It's like, it doesn't make any sense. Look how Captain Marvel 2, how long it's taken for that to come out. Like, it doesn't make any sense. The first movies in phase 4 should have been Captain America 4, Armored Wars, Black Panther 2, Thor Love and Thunder, and Captain Marvel 2. Those are characters that everybody is already established with from the previous phases. We know them. And then you do like you did with Black Panther and Civil War. You want to bring Shang-Chi in? Okay, introduce him in Armored Wars or Wakanda Forever, and then give him his own solo movie. Show Eternals and Captain Marvel 2, then give them their own movie. It's like, you just come right out the gate with all these characters that no one even knows. People like, what? They completely just stepped away from their formula. And to me, I liked Falcon Winter Soldier a lot. It should have been a movie. It should 100% been a movie. They got stuck on that Disney Plus train, man.
Well, they're trying to make it profitable, which, I mean, it's lost like $1 billion, $2 billion, something like that. It's lost a lot of money for them, and so they're trying to make that profitable, and it's just not working out for them. You know what I mean?
I think they fell in a trap with a lot of people where they think like streaming is the next like godsend, and like, man, we got to put everything on streaming, and I don't think you really need to. It's just like HBO fucked up because they're like, we're putting our stuff in theaters and on HBO Max the same day. It's like, well, I'm not going to go pay see Wonder Woman 84. I'll just sit home and watch it,
Yes.
and now with Disney Plus, it's like there was a lot of things that should have been movies. Falcon Winter Soldier should have been a movie. There was a couple other ones. The Hawkeye show I loved. I thought that could have been a movie. You know, Moon Knight probably is good at Disney Plus because no one really knew the character. She-Hulk is good where it's at. But just like the Loki movie would have made really good money and that's where you introduce Kang, like they did, you know, not Ant-Man. It just
and what's funny, dude, I thought Moon Knight was like the strongest of them. It got a little silly at the end, but Moon Knight was kind of dope, bro. It was
awesome. I fell off after the third episode. Yeah. I fell off that and I fell off Miss Marvel.
I didn't even get into Miss Marvel.
I fell off Miss Marvel and I fell off She-Hulk hard. Miss Marvel started off good and then it just went tanking, man. And that's another one. That should have been a character that was introduced in Captain Marvel 2. You know?
Yeah.
It's like they forgot their formula. It was almost like they felt like, well, we can't be defeated. We're the greatest. You know, we make billion-dollar movies, and now they're eating a big slice of that humble pie. You know?
They might be panicking right now over at Marvel because of what's happening with the subscription service. And then, you know, couple that with the movies not doing as well as they used to. They're hemorrhaging money in the entertainment space right now. So they might be in panic mode right now.
The thing is, though, right, is it ain't about how much content you get. It's about the quality of the content that you get. True. Like HBO doesn't have like shows coming out like rapid fire, right? But you get like House of the Dragon. House of the Dragon is a quality show. Then you get The Last of Us, which is a quality show. The only quality show, I'm going to get a hate for this. The only quality show Disney Plus has ever put on was Andor. And people don't like Andor. You know, they're like, oh, it's boring and whatnot. But it's the first real adult show that feels like it should be on HBO that is on Disney Plus, where the cinematography is fantastic, the script is fantastic, and the writing and everything, like the acting is fantastic. It's a quality show. Whereas Mandalorian, which I'm really let down on this season, feels like a freak of the week, fun adventure. Most of the Disney Marvel shows are all like, you know, kooky, you know, paint by numbers stuff. There's no quality to it. It's like they get people who never wrote TV before to write these shows. You know, I'm gonna put this one point. I want to get to Geeky Guy's question, but do you watch Mandalorian by any chance?
I did, for the first and second season.
Okay, so
you haven't gotten to the third season yet.
Yeah, I won't spoil anything, but Mandalorian, the way it's structured is you follow this character for like 30 minutes, and that's all you follow, right? Whereas in other TV shows, whether it be Netflix, HBO, whatever, you know, you'll follow this character for like 10 minutes, then you'll cut to the other side of a different location. You'll be with this character for 10 minutes. You know, look at Stranger Things, right? You're with this person for a few minutes, then you see what this person's doing, then you see what the mom is doing. You know, go to House of Dragon, you see what this person doing, this person. Like every show, even The Last of Us, you weren't on Joel and Ellie the entire time. They were doing other things, right? Mandalorian has a problem where it's just Mandalorian, and that's it. Mandalorian and Baby Yoda. And I'm like, man, this is so boring. Like they did an episode just with the doctor, the cloning doctor. It was an hour-long episode where you just followed this guy on Coruscant. And I'm like, why wasn't this broken up in the other 3 episodes and we just got snippets of it to build up? That's what Andor did, you know? So I feel like they're getting people that don't know how to write television to develop these television shows. And television is different than movies, man. You know, it's I don't know. I'm really let down with Mandalorian this year. Geeky Guy threw in a $10 super chat. Rocksteady will have their Suicide Squad game reboot the Arkham franchise, Flashpoint style, and develop future Batman reboot games that take place after Arkham. Thoughts, dude? I really wish I knew where you get your information from because I did not hear any of that. How is Rock? First of all, how is that Suicide Squad game going to reboot the franchise? How? I don't understand. I don't know. I gotta be honest with you, bro. I'm probably not playing Suicide Squad. If I want to play Destiny, I'll just go play Destiny. You know what I mean? Like that game looks awful, man. Like you have these characters that all have their own. Like, why does King Shark have a gun? Why does Captain Boomerang have like this machine gun? He's Captain Boomerang. You know, it's like it doesn't make any sense. They're trying to make it a looter shooter,
Yep.
a looter shooter. What's the term for live service game? Like that's why the Avengers game failed. You play the first hour of Avengers, like, man, this is dope. Captain America's taking out bitches and stuff, and then it gets right into like the live service Destiny shit, where I'm like, why am I buying like loot for my character and I'm going on missions with friends? Like, no, like these live service games fail almost every time, and you're taking Suicide Squad. Like, I don't know, dude. Are you gonna pick up Suicide Squad?
I am, just to see what it's all about. And plus I really do like the idea of the Justice League kind of being corrupted. You know what I mean? It's kind of like what's that arc, dude? When Batman and Superman were at odds and they had their own teams and they were going against each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I really want to see that in a movie, in a game, dude. I want to see that. It's kind of like the Injustice League or whatever. But anyway, I'm gonna pick it up just to see that, see what it turns into. However, the only way that I can see this turn into like a Flashpoint paradox type thing is if, you know, they have the Flash and he goes back in time to try to fix, you know, what happened. You know, that's the only time, only way that I can see them doing a Flashpoint paradox type deal, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it could happen. I don't think that's the direction that they're going in, though.
I know they cast it, or not cast it, but the Flash is in the movie. I know that for a fact. Or not in the movie, but in the game, because they show he's the only one they really show in the trailers, right?
Right.
But I don't know personally what they're gonna do. I hope they don't go that route.
Me too.
I don't know, man. Just look, I'm not saying I'm not gonna play the game. I'm just gonna say I'm not playing the game for $70, because that's the way I am with a lot of things now, right? It's just like games are so expensive. Like, I'm just gonna pick and choose what I play and how I play. Like, the next game I'm gonna spend $70 on is Jedi Survivor. Everybody's buying Resident Evil 4 today. Look, I love Resident Evil 4. Huh?
Yeah.
What's that?
No, freaking what you were talking about, the new Jedi game. That thing looks so sick, bro.
Yeah.
It looks so good.
Yeah, everybody
they're back
like
to form with those things.
Yeah, absolutely. Finally, because they learned their lesson with all those shitty ass Battlefront games. But like, games are so expensive today, and I don't want to just drop something on something that I might not like. So like, everybody's buying Resident Evil 4 today. I hope everybody enjoys it. I will be playing Resident Evil 4 when it gets down to $40, and I can pick it up pre-owned at GameStop. I'm not paying $70 for it. I mean, I literally have Resident Evil 4 right back there that I can play. It ain't the remake, but hey, it's still a fantastic game, you know? So I will be getting it at some point. But when it comes to like Suicide Squad, yeah, I'm vaguely interested in it. But I paid $70 for Avengers, and it was like the worst thing ever. Like, I played it for 2 days, and I'm like, no. So I'm not gonna fall through that same trap, especially since their Rocksteady delayed the game because of all the backlash. So I'm not gonna play an Avengers clone where I have to pay $70 and I'm just gonna be out of the money. I'd rather wait. You know, I'm gonna spend my money on Jedi Survivor because I know it's gonna be a good game. And when Suicide Squad or Resident Evil reach like $40 pre-owned or whatever, then I'll pick it up. I don't get paid a hell of a lot of money to review games, so it doesn't make sense for me to go out and rush to spend my money on something that I might not like in the long run and actually lose money doing it, you know?
Yeah. No, that makes total sense, bro.
And Geeky Guy said, not only that, Rocksteady is even putting even more tank enemies in the Suicide Squad because that works so well in Arkham Knight. Arkham Knight is the only Arkham game I never finished. I hated that game. The Batmobile stuff killed that game. I don't know if you ever played Arkham Knight. It's just like they rely so much on the Batmobile and then taking out enemies and stuff like that with the Batmobile. It really killed the game, where the first 3 games were very grounded. I like Arkham Origins quite a bit.
Right on.
But Arkham Knight or Arkham Asylum and Arkham City were fantastic. Arkham Origins was really good. Arkham Knight, they just kind of completely got away from the formula, and I didn't really care for it all that much. But I don't know, man. Like Suicide Squad, I have no faith in. You know,
Yeah.
I'll wait for this man to review it, and then I'll watch his review where he says I wasted $70, and I'll be like, okay, justified.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm tempering my expectations, but I want to see where they're going to go with the story. You know what I mean? That's like the only reason.
Oh, didn't you pay attention to the last super chat? It's going to be a reboot Flash, man. Point, the whole thing. You know, that's where they're going with the story. They're rebooting it.
It's like, we'll have to see. That don't make a lot of sense. You know, even if they did go that direction, I'm not sure I would agree with it. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't think a video game you need to go through a storyline. Like if they were going to reboot Batman, why would you make a Suicide Squad doing a Flashpoint thing to reboot it? Why wouldn't you just make a new Batman game? You know?
Right.
Just change the art style to it and be like, this is a new Batman game from the creators of Arkham Knight, you know?
Yeah. And
it ain't like a movie where you're using different actors and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, shoot, man, the voice actor for Batman, with him passing away, that's going to be hard to replace him.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's hard to replace either way, but I mean, sure, they'll find someone. But the Arkham games are so damn solid that they don't need to reboot. They just need to build off of them.
Yeah.
Get rid of the Arkham Knights, get rid of the Suicide Squad, get something that's, you know, like you said, grounded. They need to get away from this go back to a single player game. Get away from the live experience type deal. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know.
The live service shit is ruining a lot of games, man.
Yeah.
A lot of games. And another example why I'm not paying $70 for it. I got fucked in the ass by paying $70 for Gotham Knights a couple months ago. And that game is horrendous. So no, not gonna fool me again.
Yeah.
Not gonna fool me again.
And that's what like the span of entertainment, we're talking gaming, movies, that's what we're running into. Things are getting so expensive where you got to pick and choose where the dollar goes nowadays. You know what I mean? And so studios are going to have to recognize that and get back to making really good games. So, I mean, it's a double-edged sword. You know, you have to wait a little bit for a good game to come out, paying $70 for it, but you'll know that you're getting a gem and not a turd. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with that. I think things are so expensive nowadays that you really have to kind of, I don't know, you got to make choices. Like for me, I did buy Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3 remakes day one, but that's because Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3, they were on the PS1. So I was like, oh my God, they took these little pixel things and made them like this modern game. It was completely different. Where you take Resident Evil 4 and put up a Resident Evil 4 remake, they look close enough. I'm not saying there's not a difference. There is a difference, but they look close enough to where I can still just play Resident Evil 4 and just wait for the remake to go on sale. You know?
Yeah. I'm right there with you.
Almost with my same argument about Metal Gear Solid 3 being remade, where I think the first one is the one that you need to remake. That's the one that's stuck on the PlayStation with the pixel graphics and stuff. But
but that's how backwards they are, right? How many times has The Last of Us been, you know?
Oh man, don't even get me started on that argument.
You know,
dude, I went off on that crap. It doesn't make any sense. You got good. I'm glad we got like 15 minutes left, so I'm glad we're getting into this topic. So we got the Microsoft, Xbox, and Activision deal going on, which I'm all for it. I'm like, let it happen, right? Because I don't play this console war BS, right? I'm not 10 years old. I don't play console wars. I own every console. I love each and every one of them in their own different way. They all do different things differently. But I'm all for the Activision deal because, you know, Sony's kind of been on their high horse lately, right? It's like, we got Call of Duty, you know, we don't need to worry about making Killzone or Resistance or anything because we got Call of Duty. And then you have a group of people that are like, well, Microsoft doesn't need to buy studio. They just need to make games. And I'm like, you do know Sony's doing the same thing, right? Like Final Fantasy 16 is not coming on the Xbox because Sony paid Square for an exclusive contract to keep it off Xbox. That's just as shady as Xbox trying to buy a company, right? And they do it with everything, right? So my thing is, you're playing about The Last of Us, right? We haven't got a new Killzone game. We haven't got a new Resistance game. We haven't got a new Jak and Daxter game because they're remaking Last of Us every 2 years. It's like it was on the PS3, they remastered it on the PS4 like a few years later. Then there was a patch for the PS4 remastered to make it high quality and better frame rate on the PS5. So you can count that as like almost another remaster. And then they remake the remaster of the what? And they charge $70 for it. $70. And people are dumb enough to go out and buy it. And I'm like, guys, you can go to GameStop and get The Last of Us remastered for $5, and it runs 60 frames per second on your PS5. And guess what? Has the same cutscenes, the same dialogue as that $70 version you just bought.
Yeah, and that was a big controversy whenever the last one that they were talking about remaking, that was a big controversy. It's like, I'm not paying $70 for a game that I've played twice or 3 times already. I ain't doing that. You know what I mean? It makes no sense. And then like on the topic of the merger, right? So Jim Ryan, right? He came out and was like,
Ryan.
Yeah, he came out and he was like, I don't care that I don't want a new Call of Duty game. I just want to squash the acquisition. And I watched Skill Up. He's awesome. Don't get me wrong, but he made a comment that, you know, he just said the quiet part out loud. I'm not worried about that comment. I am, just because he's making it seem like Call of Duty is the end all be all for games. And I don't even think that was their highest selling game on Sony last year. I think it was
no, it was.
It was?
Yeah, for the past 2 years, Call of Duty was their highest selling game.
No way, because Grand Theft Auto has been a high selling game for them for a long time.
Oh yeah,
right?
Yeah.
You know, so but anyway, him saying that, right? It just kind of says quiet powder out loud, and I have a problem with that because, you know, they're making themselves seem like the guy that's getting punched down upon, like Microsoft is punching down on them.
Yeah,
which is not true. You know, when they came out with the PS1, they got like $114 million squashing everybody under them, and they didn't didn't make any mention about them having a monopoly or them taking over the gaming
PlayStation 2 as well, man.
Yeah, it did even better, kicked Xbox's ass, you know what I'm saying? So, and they didn't say anything about it then, so all of a sudden now that Xbox might have a chance to really
challenge them a little bit.
Right now they're saying something about it. They don't care. It's not about that. It's just grimy business, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is. What kills me is I don't like fanboys, right? I like people who are fans of things. I don't like people who are fanboys. You know, like the definition of fanboy, like people that have blind loyalty to something and they don't see other things, right? That's why I don't get into the whole console war shit. Like I literally play on everything, and the fanboys, they're like, look, I'm not saying this dude's a fanboy, but Cody Leach, right? He's a friend of mine. I seen him post a few months back saying about the acquisition. He says, I don't have a horse in this race, but why can't Xbox just make games? And I'm sitting there thinking, like, what the hell has Sony made? They've been riding the coaster of Last of Us, Horizon, and Call of Duty for the past like 8 years. They don't have original games, and games that they do have original, they're not their games. They pay for those. And what I mean by that is like like Ghostwire Tokyo or Final Fantasy or any game that you think is a Sony exclusive, they're not. It's just they signed a dealing saying that you cannot put this on Xbox. They're paying to keep it off Xbox. That's the reason why 2 weeks ago, when Phil Spencer and the Xbox lawyers went to court and said, we want you to pull all the records of all their contracts for the past 4 years. Sony was like, no, you can't do that. And the court was like, why? You hiding something? And the court made them do it. And now you see the whole acquisition is turning around because now Sony is being exposed of It's just like how everybody blames. I don't know if you watch sports, but the New England Patriots. Oh, New England Patriots are cheaters. Man, every team cheats. Just certain teams are better at it than others, right? Sony is just as dirty as Microsoft. It's just they're better at it than Microsoft. You would be surprised at the games that they keep off Xbox. Damn, it was the new game Silent Hill 2, right?
Yeah.
It's a timed exclusive on PlayStation. That's a third-party game. There's no reason why that's not on Xbox. Final Fantasy 16, no reason why that's not on. Forspoken, Square paid $100 million budget on Forspoken. The game burned because it was only on PlayStation. You would have sold a lot more copies if it was on Xbox. But Sony and Jim Ryan signed these exclusive deals to keep it off Sony or keep it off Xbox, and that's anti-consumer. So how is Microsoft buying Activision anti-consumer? It's not.
It's not. It's like all the moves that Sony makes are anti-consumer, and like all the moves for a long time. Sony has been like them. They say that it's selective, but recording gamers so they can send it to their HR department or whatever, so people can get banned and stuff like that. It's like, dude, if you're online and you don't like what the person's saying, mute it or just go offline. I don't know what to tell you, dude.
Yeah,
like, that person shouldn't have to suffer because he decided to trash talk you and you couldn't take it.
Absolutely.
So all of a sudden Sony, big brother Sony's coming down and saying, oh no, you can't do that, ban you. You shouldn't be able to do that. It's like our interaction should stop at me buying your game. That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
Game, boom, done.
You shouldn't be monitoring stuff like that unless you say something like stupid, like you're threatening somebody or something like that. But back when I played Modern Warfare, the original Modern Warfare and Halo 3, man, we said whatever the hell we wanted. You had to be a man to be in those chats, bro, because I swear to God, like some of the stuff that like we heard, like, man. But now like they're monitoring stuff, and to me, I don't know, man. The whole gaming scene is just really kind of, I don't know. I've been playing more retro stuff lately, just because of reasons like that. But I hope the Xbox to Activision goes through. I'm pretty sure. I'm like 99% sure it's going to now because of the whole thing with Jim Ryan and stuff. Because I want to see competition, because I think competition makes out the best of things.
It does. Yeah.
Back when PlayStation got humbled with the PS3, they came out with that $600-700 console, and the 360 whooped their ass. They got humbled when the PlayStation 4 came out, and they started like making great games. And they've been at number one so long that they haven't put out anything new or original, right?
Right.
I want to see like Activision go to Microsoft start to compete a little bit, and then Jim Ryan or Sony's like, okay, let's put our money in it. Let's go full on with a new Killzone. Let's make Killzone our new franchise. And that's the thing. Jim Ryan's like, we have nothing to compete against Call of Duty. And then Phil Spencer said this came out a couple of days ago. He's like, well, we think 10 years is long enough for you guys to develop a competitor to Call of Duty. And it is, like back in the PlayStation 3 era, man, they had Resistance Fall of Man, Killzone 2, Killzone 3. They had that 60-on-60 mag first-person shooter, which was kind of fun. They were doing different things, and now they're just like, we get Call of Duty every year, so we get the marketing. It's free money for them,
Yeah. I will say in defense of Sony, and it's like, dude, honestly, I've been a fan of Sony since the PS1. Before
Me too.
that, it was Sega Genesis, Sega Dreamcast, Nintendo. We've been through it, right? But when the PS1 came out, I was like, this is it. They got the great games, they got the great graphics. I'm all in on this. But with the moves they're making recently, I'm not in their camp as much. If they were to go out of business as far as consoles, if they were to stop selling consoles, I'd mourn them, but I would buy an Xbox Series XS or whatever and be totally fine, right?
Yeah.
But they just had a Senate Finance Committee hearing, and there was this representative. Her name's Maria Cantwell, right? And she was saying that they hold a 98% what do you call it, um, market share in Japan, Sony. But what she failed to mention was she took out Nintendo and PC gaming out of that. So she was straight out lying about that, and asking the committee to see if they could do something, talk to Japan about their anti-monopoly laws, pretty much shitting on Japan, right? Coming to find out that this woman, according to Kotaku, she takes a bunch of money. One of her some of her biggest contributors are from Microsoft employees. So it's shady shit going on both sides.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Still, Microsoft still comes out smelling like a bunch of roses compared to how Sony operates.
Yeah,
they're not the Sony that I grew up with, dude.
No, the new leadership of Sony is just awful. But like I said, the problem is you get these fanboys and they're blinded by the truth of everything, right? I remember I'm like, people go get PlayStation because like it's like a name now, right? It's like, oh, you got to get the new PlayStation. Look, I'm gonna keep it real with you guys. Xbox Series X is better than PlayStation 5. People don't want to hear that, but it's the truth. The Xbox Series X, one, it's a better design than this fucking router looking thing I'm looking at. Two, it plays Xbox One, Xbox 360, and the original Xbox games, right? PlayStation 5 has PS4 games. Game Pass is probably the best deal in gaming. You can play games at 4K, 120 frames per second. PlayStation, people think you can, but you can't. You can play at 1080p at 120 frames or 60 frames at 4K, but you can't play 4K at 120, right? And I can say this because I own them. I tested it.
Yeah.
You're the best. Thank you. But with that said, I still have my PlayStation because I like the exclusives. I like what Sony is doing and everything. But I think people are just blinded by it, right? And a lot of people, they buy a PlayStation just to play Madden. Like they do it. They're like, yeah, man, I got that new Madden every year. I'm like, you do know Madden's on every other console too, right? You know, it's like, oh, Call of Duty, you know, that's on every, like I buy consoles for exclusives. I buy Switch for Zelda. I buy Xbox for Halo. I buy PlayStation for, you know, God of War and all that stuff. And I feel like we're just at this point now to where people are just blinded by loyalty, you know, and they're not looking at the shady shit behind. It's like politics now. You know, you're either Democrat or Republican, and they're both shady as fuck. You know?
Yeah.
So
and I can't stand the people who pick teams is like because they have a D or an R or in this case an X or an S, you know. That's what I'm going with. It's like there is a lot of nuance, bro. You know, you hang back until all the evidence comes out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think every company has their pros. Every company has their pros. I think hands down, out of all the consoles, I think that the Switch is the best console. Like it's I think it's the best. Even in the Xbox One, PlayStation 4 era, I use my Switch more than those consoles. I think the games are funner. You know, it's like, man, Mario Odyssey, Zelda Breath of the Wild, or you know, whereas all these other games on these other consoles all kind of feel the same. Horizon kind of feels like God of War. God of War kind of feels like this, you know. And I feel like video games have become movies now and not video games. And I miss like something like Metroid Prime. It's just very simple, man. You just go and you play it, you know. And now everything's like video games have become like the movie industry where these superhero movies cost like 300 million to make. Now these video games like Forspoken, man, 100 million to make it. It's a game about something we never even heard of, and you think you're gonna get your money back, you know?
No,
it's like ridiculous.
And like the thing with Forspoken, I don't think the concept was awesome, right? You know, water concept, right? Don't get me wrong, it sounds interesting, but the way that she was speaking, you know, that's what everybody was like dunking on them about. It's like, dude, the dialogue was so cringe, bro.
The sad thing is, I have that game. I own that game. My fiance bought it for me for my birthday in January. I never even played it yet. I haven't even played it yet. You know, it's just and to be honest with you, if she didn't buy it from me for my birthday, I probably would never even bought it. You know,
Right
it's
on.
just like I have a large backlog of games, so I'm
Yep.
kind of like going through and picking and choosing what I'm getting.
Mhm.
Like I said, I finished Metroid Prime, and I'm
Mhm.
like, well, do I want to jump into Resident Evil 4 or wait for Jedi Survivor? I'm like, well, I'll wait for Jedi Survivor, you
Yeah.
know, because
Yep.
another thing that modern games do on this is both an Xbox and PlayStation problem is
Mhm.
these games are way too long. Like these games
Right
are like
on.
30, 40 hours. I remember back in the PlayStation PS2 eras, you know,
Mhm.
you can beat a game in a day, and then the next day
Yeah.
is so good you want to play through it again.
Yeah.
Whereas you get something like Spider-Man on the PlayStation 4, right? I
Yeah.
love the game, but why is it
Mhm.
25 hours? You know, why is it 25 hours long? It's like you're
Yeah.
going around finding Harry Osborn samples and doing Black Cat shot. It's just busy work to pad the game
Yes.
to
Yes.
justify the $70 price point. The Miles Morales game is a much better game. It's
Dude,
about
thank you.
6 to 7
Yes.
hours long. The story is fantastic. It gets away from all the fluff, but people
Yeah.
praise that Spider-Man game. I'm like, you're doing it's 25 hours and a good 20 hours is fluff.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you're like all this stuff just to pad the game out.
Right.
Yeah, I much prefer. I want more games to go back to the Miles Morales style, where it's
Right
a
on.
nice 8 hour to 10 hour game.
Yeah.
You jump in, get out. When Resident Evil 3 remake came out, people butchered it in the reviews because it was only like 6 hours long. I'm like, that's
Mhm.
all you need. They're like, but we
Yeah.
paid $70 for it. It's like,
Right.
but I can play it multiple times.
Yeah.
You know?
And I'm not sure if a lot of people know this is that when Atari came out, they took a really big gamble in selling their system at a discount, but making their money back in games.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's
yeah,
been the standard forever.
yeah,
So
yeah.
the
That's
price
the
hike
model.
is, it makes sense. That's
Yeah.
how you get a, $500 PlayStation 5. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X, what
Mhm.
we're paying for is not how much it costs to make. It costs them a
Right.
lot more. They're losing
Yeah.
money every time they sell one of those consoles because they're hoping to
Exactly.
get it back with the software,
Hmm.
and that's why we keep seeing these games get hiked up in prices, you
Yeah.
know, and it also because they're doing stuff like, Forspoken and Callisto Protocol that are
Yeah.
costing $100 million to make, and you don't need that type of game to it's just
Right.
ridiculous. It's the same thing with the movie business now.
Hmm.
You see these studios like Black Adam costing 200 million to make. It doesn't even
Yeah.
make 400 million. It loses tons of money in the box office. It's like,
Yeah.
why are you taking a character that nobody knows and spending $200 million on a budget?
Yeah.
Like do like
Yeah.
Deadpool did. It was like 70
Oh
million
man.
dollars. Movie made almost $1 billion. You
Yeah.
know, it's just ridiculous.
They more than made their money back.
Yeah, yeah, they made enough for like 5 of those movies, man. I'm gonna go ahead and put the 5-minute warning in, and then we'll go ahead and wrap
Okay.
it up.
Okay.
Um,
Sounds good to me,
but
man.
yeah, but the whole I don't like the whole versus thing, the Xbox versus PlayStation. I like
Mhm.
them all equally.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's right to turn a blind eye when one company's doing something shady, you
Mhm.
know, I just think it's stupid. The
Yeah.
blind loyalty for people is like, yeah, man, I got a new PlayStation. Oh yeah, what game you playing? Madden. Well, like if you bought a PlayStation, you think you'll be picking up like God of War, Last of
Yeah.
Us, Horizon.
Yes.
It's like
Yeah.
you're picking up a third-party game to play on an exclusive machine. It makes no sense. No sense. Like it
Yeah.
just doesn't.
Right on, man. But shoot, man, what I really wanted to say thank you to you because I mean you took a gamble on me. You didn't know me from Tom, Dick, and Harry down the street, and in this kind of arena, subscriber
Mhm.
counts are kind of king, and yours dwarfs mine by a magnitude of like 10, right? Or tens and 20s, right? And I really appreciate it, dude. Thank you.
No problem at all. I actually put the link to your YouTube channel in the description. So anybody watching this,
Appreciate it.
just click in the description box and you can get his YouTube channel over there. I went and I actually subscribed. I was watching some of your stuff.
Yeah,
So
I saw that.
because a lot of times I do get people be like, hey man, you want to like collab and stuff? And then I'll
Mhm.
look at their stuff and it's just, to me, it's how you present yourself. I
Yeah.
like if you present yourself in like a intelligent type of way, I guess, then I'm like, okay, this is a person I can have a conversation with, you know. But you know, so I watched a couple of your videos. I'm like, all right, man, I'm gonna respond to this guy, and I'm like, okay, you know. So yeah, man, it's definitely been awesome. It's been a good conversation. I like when I can have conversation and actually have a discussion without, you know, leaning into like, well, you're just wrong because of this, you know. It's like it's ridiculous. So much of YouTube now is what's the word I want to look toxic. Like so much of YouTube is toxic right now. You know, you got people attacking Star Wars creators, attacking Marvel creators. I mean, I definitely do videos on like Shazam failed, you know, blah blah. But I try to explain why it failed and stuff like that. I don't try to like point fingers and blame at certain things. And right now, I think it's really important to have like a good community of people that can actually sit down and have a discussion. So it's definitely been fun.
I agree with that, dude. Yeah.
But all right, man, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you so much for coming on. You can check out Dark Fox's YouTube channel in the description box below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Appreciate each and every one of you guys, and we will catch you guys next time. Later.